SpaceX is finally launching Super Heavy to orbit in July 2022. The time is not far when humans will be able to travel away from Earth and towards the moon, and maybe even colonize Mars. All this is about to be made possible with continuous advancements in rocket technology by SpaceX. The company's multi-billionaire CEO has recently stated that the company is almost ready to launch its much-awaited Super Heavy to orbit in July 2022. Watch the video till the end as we tell you all the details about this historic launch. The year-long wait. SpaceX has not launched a rocket from South Texas since the space company carried out a flurry of 7 Starship prototype test flights from August 2020 to May 2021. This gap is almost at its end as SpaceX moves closer to attempting an orbital launch from South Texas. The reason behind this wait is because of the Federal Aviation Administration to finish an environmental study for orbital movements. Approximately 12 launches of SpaceX's smaller Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy rockets were permitted annually under the initial environmental approval for the Texas location. The company then had to go back to the Federal Aviation Administration and request approval for considerably more significant launches because the Starship launch system fell outside the scope. This was the beginning of a long process. Finally, after a wait of more than 1 year, SpaceX secured a significant decision earlier this month when it received a crucial regulatory approval from the FAA. Even though it is not fully completed, the company can now move on with starting Starship test flights from Texas. However, SpaceX still needs to complete a few tasks before it can resume operations at Boca, Chica, Texas. Before this approval, the FAA had repeatedly postponed the deadline, claiming that it needed more time to discuss the results with other agencies and sort through thousands of public comments that had been sent since the introduction of a draft version in September 2021. Ready, set, go. Now that things are almost ready to go, SpaceX is trying its best to move as quickly as possible. A substantial launch and catch tower has been designed and constructed at the South Texas site with considerable effort. It supports the fully stacked rocket during fueling and launch operations and is more than 150 meters tall. Then, as the rocket slows down close to the ground minutes after launch, it will snag the first stage booster with enormous chopsticks. It took over 13 months to complete the design and construction phases. Furthermore, to simultaneously fuel the Super Heavy and Starship rockets, SpaceX had to enhance its ground support infrastructure at the Texas location. After takeoff, SpaceX will try to land each of the 3 rocket boosters on the planet. One of them will attempt to touch down on an autonomous drone ship at sea, while the other one will touch down in Landing Zone 1 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, while the third booster is anticipated to try another ocean landing. If we look at the Super Heavy, 3 Falcon 9 first stage boosters, each of which has flown previously on separate missions, are effectively welded together to form the Falcon Heavy rocket. The first stage booster and the 160 feet tall upper stage spacecraft, known as the Starship, are part of SpaceX's Starship program. These two are made to be completely reusable, and when fully stacked, the height of Starship and Super Heavy is 395 feet, making it the tallest rocket in the entire globe. Just a few days ago, the Super Heavy rocket's Booster 7 prototype was transported to the launch site by SpaceX. It was placed on its launch mount for the first time using chopsticks on the newly built launch tower. This launcher will launch Starship on an orbital test flight if it passes pressure testing and possibly a static fire test in the upcoming days and weeks. Changing the world. If everything goes according to the plan, SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket will have the capacity to launch 63 tons into low Earth orbit, while more than 20 tons can be sent to Mars. If we compare this with the best NASA rocket, that has the capacity of launching around 50 metric tons into Earth orbit. SpaceX eventually intends to use this technology to ferry astronauts and goods to the moon for NASA, after which it will aim for Mars and other planets in the solar system. SpaceX also intends to use its Falcon Heavy rockets to launch a red Tesla convertible sports car into orbit. According to the company's billionaire CEO Elon Musk, the car, which the company has dubbed Starman after a David Bowie song, will remain in deep space for about 1 billion years if it doesn't blow up on ascent. Other than that, the company has plans for the reusable spacecraft to put more than 100 passengers into Earth orbit. Super Heavy will reportedly be able to complete one orbit of the Earth in under an hour. It will be propelled by 31 Raptor engines, the total thrust from which, according to SpaceX, will be 4 million pounds during liftoff. In addition to space travel, the rocket will be able to transport people from one side of the planet to the other in around 30 minutes, saving travelers important time. Elon Musk has also stated that he intends to use the rocket as a launch pad for efforts to colonize and explore other planets. Writing history. Elon Musk declared that SpaceX will once again make history by launching its Super Heavy rocket. This will make SpaceX the first private business to finish such a massive space project. Even NASA initially intended to launch its own space shuttle named Orion in the period between 2023 and 2025, but canceled the plan due to financial restrictions. It is worth mentioning that the Starship orbital flight test was supposed to take place as early as last summer, but SpaceX's expectations were continuously pushed back by regulatory permissions and delays in development. However, this time, the Federal Aviation Administration's environmental impact standards are being met by SpaceX. Despite his controversial Twitter purchase and the problems brought on by his activities, along with Tesla nearly hitting bankruptcy with billions of dollars lost in the last few weeks alone, Musk has said that an orbital launch attempt will happen in July. Musk is trying to move SpaceX forward as quickly as possible, and this, as usual, seems like an overly optimistic estimate. However, this time all indications are that the South Texas hardware is almost ready, and the documentation is being completed, which suggests that SpaceX will finally launch Super Heavy to orbit in July 2022. Musk himself is continuously reviewing work on the Super Heavy rocket at the SpaceX facility in Boca, Chica, Texas. He has said that SpaceX plans to do weekly flights, along with the second Starship stack that will be ready to fly in August. All in all, a few interesting weeks lie ahead for space lovers. That is it for today's video. We hope you enjoyed the content of the video. If you did, show some love and hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you never miss out on any of the amazing videos we have in store for you.